special top 10 takes looking back at everything so far in the world of pro wrestling. In 2023, we are at the halfway mark officially of this year, and it's a perfect time than ever to do not one, not two, not even three, but count them, 4 top 10 takes looking back at 2023 in this, I would call it mega rant, top 10 take style, 4 categories. We are going to be looking back at the best of 2023 and not only the best MVPs of 2023, but the best moments in 2023, the best mega events in 2023, and capping it all off with the best matches in 2023 so far. Let's get into it. This is going to be quite a rant. So let's not waste any more time. Let's take a look back at 2023 so far. This is everything up until the 3rd of July. Anything that happened in wrestling, we're covering right here too, with top 10 takes 4 times over on July 4th. I have to make this a tradition from now on. At every July 4th, I'll be maybe doing these lists. Time will tell. We'll see how things go. But let's get into, first and foremost, the top 10 takes of the top 10 MVPs so far this year in pro wrestling. A lot of names are missing from this list for sure. This was very hard to break down. I'm going to go through some honorable mentions really quick before we get to the list, just in separate organizations particularly. I guess we'll start with Impact Wrestling. Some MVPs that didn't make the list were definitely the Motor City Machine Guns. I have to give them props. They have busted their ass this year. How about the team, the World Tag Champions, Chris Bay and Ace Austin, until he got injured? What about Josh Alexander continuously stepping up in this company? There's a lot of their names I could pop off, but we don't got a lot of time, so we're not gonna marinate too much longer on these honorable mentions. WWE-wise, a couple that come to my mind that did not make the list. Cody Rhodes did not make this list, although he's had quite a 2023. How about Gunther really bringing it with the Intercontinental Championship run that he is continuing and looking fantastic on as well. Have to give a little bit of credit. Austin Theory's had a good year as well. He's been looking pretty dominant in the booking and has brought in some decent in-ring quality as well. NXT, Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker. I could go on and on with a lot of talent in NXT that have really shown their way this year. AEW-wise, some guys that didn't make the cut. Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli looked great this year. How about Adam Hangman Page, Young Bucks? I didn't even get Kenny Omega on this list as well. So there was a lot of missing names on the MVP list. New Japan-wise, what can you say about Kazuchika Okada continuing to bring it? He's added some different layers to his character this year. Other honorable mentions, Tomohiro Ishii stepped up with the in-ring once again this year, really looking dominant. Master Wato has kind of turned a corner for sure this year in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Shingo Takagi, what can you say about that guy? Just Hiromu Takahashi. A lot of the guys from the Best of the Super Juniors stepped up as well. Boy, oh boy, let's not waste any more time with the honorable mentions. Let's get into the top 10 takes of the top MVPs this year in pro wrestling. I start with number 10, Speedball Mike Bailey, not just for his work in Impact Wrestling, but his work on the independent scene and his work in the New Japan Best of Super Juniors tournament. I kind of wish he would have won the whole thing. I think he should have won the whole thing, but is what it is. I hope to see Speedball back in a New Japan ring. I think that's where he belongs more than anywhere. And I also feel like he deserves some sort of accolades in Impact Wrestling. I don't know, give him another shot at the world title. I'd even give him a short run at the world title until Josh Alexander comes back, quite frankly. Just how I feel about Speedball Mike Bailey. How about number 9? The really standalone person from the Ring of Honor brand that I think has stood out and has benefited from the Ring of Honor brand in itself is the women's champion, Athena, who has really dominated the division and also has put on quality match after quality match with opponents like Sky Blue, Willow Nightingale, Kiera Hogan. I could go on and on. This woman's dominant. I don't know when she's going to drop this title. I almost feel like it's time for her to level up and get into AEW, like primarily without the Ring of Honor influence. I don't know. Time will tell. She does have a match this weekend against Willow Nightingale, who's another honorable mention on this list as well for the women that has really stood out this year. How about number 8? El Hijo del Vecino, who has really made a name in the United States this year so far. He has become a household name with wrestling fans from his appearances on Dynamite and AEW programming. He looked great at the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, has dabbled back and forth between AEW and Ring of Honor matches. AAA Mega Champion El Hijo del Vecino really standing out in the world of pro wrestling this year so far. How about number 7? This is an unfortunate one because I think she may have gotten higher on the list if it wasn't for the injury back late May in a New Japan ring in Los Angeles. Mercedes Moné, the former Sasha Banks, was starting to really make waves in pro wrestling with her performance at Battle in the Valley this past year against Kairi Sane, her matches in New Japan as well, and obviously that tournament with Willow Nightingale where she got injured, but she was making momentum, and probably if that injury wouldn't happen, we may have been seeing her in an AEW ring already around Forbidden Door time in the very least, if not more of a permanent basis for Mercedes Moné. Number 6, Sami Zayn. He has been a difference maker in WWE, no question. Going into February, he was on a really hot roll leading in that match with Roman Reigns. Cooled down a little bit, but with the angle with Kevin Owens, brought him back up into the limelight. And I gotta say, Owens and Zayn have been solid this year as tag champions. I'm just waiting for that right team to step in to build a nice, solid program with these guys now that they've kind of moved on from the bloodline stuff. It's time to find a spot for Zayn and Owens, but Zayn particularly has been an MVP this year, no question about it, continuously putting on excellent matches in the ring. We just saw one not too long ago with Gunther on Monday Night Raw this past week, as a matter of fact. We are at, let's see, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, number 5, Seth Rollins has another WWE guy has really stepped up, taken the ball and run with it with this World Heavyweight Championship run that he's been doing. He looked pretty good earlier in this year as well. Had a great match with Logan Paul at WrestleMania. He has been the workhorse of WWE, or one of the workhorses for sure. Speaking of another workhorse in WWE, for the women, the one woman that has really stepped up this year so far is Rhea Ripley, no doubt. She has ascended into another stratosphere with her win at the Royal Rumble, her big win against Charlotte Flair, where Charlotte just put her over like $1,000,000. And I think her run so far has been pretty good in WWE with that women's championship. Number 3, Bryan fucking Danielson, folks. This guy is a workhorse to the max, as documented by his match with Okada where he got injured. The match, he didn't have many matches this year, as a matter of fact. He had some earlier pre-Revolution that really stood out. He had a match with Roosh on TV and a multitude of others that he looked really good in TV against, on Dynamite, for example. And then we got to Revolution and that excellent match with MJF, that Iron Man match, the Anarchy in the Arena match he was a part of, and of course the match with Okada. He is now injured with a literal broken forearm, a full break. But on a creative end as well, you got to hand it to Danielson. He's really stepped in to AEW and really created a nice position for himself where he is now handling creative duties as well, trying to make the brand stand out even further than they are. So that's why Danielson got high on this list, not only for his in-ring work, but his stuff behind the scenes as well. How about number 2? This is the AEW World Champion, MJF, who's been champion since last November and has had a nice, solid run, not only in the ring, and some may say he hasn't had many matches in the ring, but you have to think of the whole package here. He's had a multitude of promos this year so far that have really stood out and been memorable and strong. The angles involved with Danielson, the angles with the Four Pillars with that program. There's been some solid stuff from MJF. He's led the company strongly as a heel champion, and you really never know what to expect with this guy. He leaves a surprise at every moment. That is your AEW champ. At number 1, this is not a singular person. I got to give it to the entire crew of the Bloodline now that they are in a civil war and everything's blowing up. But you got to give it to the Usos, you got to give it to Solo Sikoa, and you got to give it to Roman Reigns, and maybe a little bit of Paul Heyman in there too, for making this storyline so compelling week to week. This is the driving force of WWE's popularity right now, right in this program with these guys as it continues on throughout the year. They are the number 1 MVPs of pro wrestling. Roman Reigns, Usos, Solo Sikoa, throw Paul Heyman in there as well, the Bloodline, just all around excellent. All right, we're done with 1 top 10 cakes. We got 3 more to go here. Let's not waste any time. Let's go into the top 10 moments of the year as I see looking back. Number 10. This is an unfortunate one on the list, but the death of Jay Briscoe was a significant moment in pro wrestling because it was a universally, I guess, situation where every company paid respects in one way or another to Jay Briscoe, maybe even if Briscoe really wasn't in the company much. And that was the example of WWE, who actually mentioned Jay Briscoe on air in his passing. A lot of outreach by the wrestling community. This was a huge loss for wrestling. AEW did a great tribute. There is a lot of blood of Jay Briscoe in the Ring of Honor brand with the tag championships that were kind of, I guess the original tag championships were retired. A new one was presented by Mark Briscoe for the Lucha Brothers. Just a lot of tones of how things in the wrestling world were affected by the death of Jay Briscoe. Number 9, a multi-event type situation here, and including the WWE Hall of Fame induction for Keiji Muto, the great Muta, who officially retired at the beginning part of this year. We had a couple shows from Noah, one with Sting and Darby Allin and Muta, another one with Shinsuke Nakamura coming back to Japan to face Great Muta. We also had the Keiji Muto retirement show from the Tokyo Dome, which almost made one of the best events of 2023. It was a hard one that is going to definitely be an honorable mention on the events list. But all in all, the whole package, the multi-situation package of the Great Muta, Keiji Muto's retirement, It's quite the situation so far this year in 2023. How about number 8? I put this in there because I feel like it's an ongoing storyline that is going to arc probably next year at WrestleMania, but we're going to continue to see it go on. And this is this ongoing title chase for Cody Rhodes. I think it was very compelling leading into WrestleMania. I know there was a lot of controversy on why Rhodes did not win that title from Roman Reigns. We can still debate that to this day on the merits of that one way or another. But one thing is for sure, this has been quite the storyline. It gives Cody a specific purpose in the company and a direction to continue to go on. So as we look into the next half of 2023, I'm really curious on where Cody Rhodes fits in this title chase. Are we going to see him face Roman Reigns again at WrestleMania 40? Is it going to go in a different direction? Maybe chase Seth Rollins at some point here? That was certainly teased on Raw just last night. So time will tell. I'm still engaged. I'm still interested to see where things go with Cody Rhodes. Number 7, the Motor City Machine Guns in Impact, both on the same evening at Against All Odds, win singles titles, Sabin his 9th X Division title, and then later in the evening in a huge shocker and one of possibly the biggest surprise moments this year so far in 2023 for me, Alex Shelley defeated Steve Maclin to win the Impact World title. Wow, that was just a moment that was like, could not see that coming from a mile away, but sure enough, it happened. The Machine Guns at the end of Against All Odds celebrating in the ring together. This felt like a big moment in Impact history, no doubt. Got to give also some honorable mentions for events-wise. The Against All Odds pay-per-view from Impact, Hard to Kill. Also, the Under Siege show from Impact was pretty damn good too. Number 6, this is the return of CM Punk to AEW with all the hoopla at AEW's first Collision show. Felt like a big deal. I was there, as you all know. This was just a few weeks ago, and it definitely left an indelible mark with me so far this year in 2023. Punk not only did his promo, but his first match back right away out of the gates was an excellent 6-man tag involving Samoa Joe, Bullet Club Gold, and FTR as well. Where are we at? Number 5. This is an industry number 5, and that is the return, perhaps the infamous return of one Vince McMahon to WWE's day-to-day operations. This started up around January, February officially. Things got a little more hot and heavy as we got closer to WrestleMania. Post-WrestleMania, we saw a lot of effects from Vince, where he was all hands on with the Raw after Mania, and it really did a disaster to that show creatively because of his fingerprints. And we've just seen recently another wave of creative, I guess, attempts from Vince to change some stuff. It's a problem in this company that still needs to be addressed to this day. Number 4, big moment from WrestleMania. I put it on this list because it was the arc of Sami and Kevin Owens and the Bloodline, but that is Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens winning the tag titles from the Usos as the main event of Night 1 of WrestleMania 39. And what a moment that was at number 4. Number 3, the Elite formation, the reformation, the slow build to that. This has been a couple years of a storyline, actually longer than that, quite longer. I would say about 3 years worth, 3.5 years, something like that. It's been a while, but it finally happened. The Elite reformed with Adam Page, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks, leading into this quite extensive program with the Blackpool Combat Club, which I have to give probably, one of the better programs of the year, particularly in AEW. Some people are sick of it. I think it's still got legs. We'll see where they go. Obviously, Blood and Guts is coming up this month. What are they going to do with All In and All Out regarding these guys? Guess time will tell. But whatever the case, I have been a fan of this storyline, particularly of the Elite reforming, and I put it as number 3. Number 2, this just happened this past weekend at Money in the Bank. Roman Reigns finally gets his, as part of the Bloodline implosion, Civil War, whatever you want to call it. Jey Uso finally gets the win against Roman Reigns. Big moment in London. What a pay-per-view it was for sure. Damn, this was a moment to remember, no doubt. And then number 1, this was nothing that particularly happened in the ring, but a big deal. The UFC merging with WWE around WrestleMania weekend, creating a new company, TKO I think is the name. So we have a partnership with Endeavor and WWE that is going to be interesting as we go probably into 2024. What exactly is WWE going to look like once this merger is official? All right, we've gotten through the moments. We got 2 more lists to go here. Top 10 events 2023 so far. Here we go. Ring of Honor, Super Card of Honor number 10. This was WrestleMania weekend. What a card it was, top to bottom. Very solid. How about number 9? The Elimination Chamber from WWE Montreal, February 2023. What a crowd. This was our first case of an international crowd this year. We've had a couple more tastes of it, and I like the taste of it, let me tell you. This crowd was jacked. Zayn and Roman was a great main event. Just a once-in-a-lifetime crowd for sure. Number 8, AEW's Double or Nothing 2023 from Las Vegas. I was at that show, and what can you say about that main event, that Anarchy in the Arena? I thought the 4 Pillars match was better than I thought it was going to be going into it. And there was a lot of other standout parts of the show. There was a little bit of a dull moment here and there on the show as well. It's kind of why it's a little higher on the list, but I still felt like it made the top 10. Number 7, New Japan's Dominion 2023 back in June. Oh man, that 6-man tag, let me tell you, that was something. There was a lot of undercard stuff here that was strong. There was some surprises with Bullet Club turns, and an excellent main event with Sonata and Yota Tsuji. Just so much good stuff here at Dominion 2023. Traditionally, kind of like the SummerSlam for New Japan every year. All right, number 6, WrestleMania 39, Night 1, I put on this list. That was the tag title match as the main event. Rey Mysterio, Dominic. The great match with Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. All in all, just a solid first night of WrestleMania 39. I wish Night 2 would have been up to par with Night 1 because we would have had an all-time best WrestleMania 2-night card if that would have been the case. Number 5, WWE once again on the list with Backlash 2023. Hey, I thought this was better than Elimination Chamber. I thought this was better than WrestleMania even. Once again, the crowd was jacked to the gills. What a crowd it was. Bad Bunny in there. Oh man, what a match that was. Bad Bunny, Damian Priest. I mean, top to bottom, the 6-man with the Bloodline was great. Cody and Lesnar was awesome. Just a great card all around and a great crowd. Number 4, AEW's Revolution 2023 from San Francisco with that top-notch Iron Man match main event with Danielson and MJF. You got that Texas Death Match with Moxley and Adam Page. And plenty of other goodness on the undercard, for sure. Number 3 is New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom 17 with that Ospreay Omega Classic. We also saw Kazuchika Okada win back his IWGP World Heavyweight Championship and so much more from the Tokyo Dome. Traditionally, the big pay-per-view that is always on the beginning of the year, January 4th. Coming in every year with a big bang is Wrestle Kingdom. Number 2, this just, actually number 2 and number 1, the shows that just happened within the last 10 days. Number 2 is WWE's Money in the Bank from London, England. I just did a rant on it before this one. If you hadn't had a chance, check it out, but this show was fire. But that leaves number 1, and number 1 is AEW New Japan's Forbidden Door from Toronto. Just a fantastic card that I really, really enjoyed. Okay, without any further ado, we are 3 down with the top 10 takes. We have 1 more to go, and that is the best matches so far in 2023. Let's kick it all off with top 10 takes, 2023 matches. So far, Bryan Danielson, Kazuchika Okada at number 10 from Forbidden Door. The war of attrition of this match with Danielson working 10 minutes after breaking his forearm fully, a full break. Impressive as hell. I would think this even takes precedence over the performance from Cody Rhodes last year and Seth Rollins when he was injured. Nothing compared to a broken frickin' arm from Bryan Danielson in this match with Okada. Number 9, Adam Page, Jon Moxley, Texas Deathmatch Revolution. This is going to be a very AEW heavy top 10 takes, by the way, on the matches. Number 8, Kenny Omega, El Hijo del Vecchio from the March 22nd Dynamite. To me, this was the best match of the year on Dynamite, and I'll be honest, there's a lot of matches that didn't make this list that were on Dynamite this year that were just so damn good. Number 7 is Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, Elimination Chamber. Man, I just loved this match. Also, I really loved number 6, Gunther versus Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. This was on night 2 of WrestleMania 39, and ultimately this was probably my favorite WWE match of the year so far. Honorable mentions here that did not make the list include both Money in the Bank matches from this past weekend. Didn't make the list, but I had high praise for those matches for sure. Number 5, Anarchy in the Arena from Double or Nothing, a wild spectacle of a match. What can you say else about that other than stuff you wouldn't expect, some surprises? What can you say? A wild match, no doubt. Number 4, the best 6-man tag I've seen in a long time was in all places, New Japan Pro Wrestling at Dominion this year. Okada, Tanahashi, and Ishii against Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Shota Umino from Dominion. If you haven't seen this match, please do yourself a favor and check it out. It was a classic. Number 3, MJF and Bryan Danielson, the Iron Man match from Revolution. I said it in my rant back in Revolution, but I think this was the best Iron Man match I have ever freaking seen, period. And then we get down to number 2 and number 1. Number 2, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega from Wrestle Kingdom 17. This was the first match between these guys, and what a awesome match it was looking back to start off the year. Wow. And it segues perfectly to number 1. Number 1 is also Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega from Forbidden Door. I think it just slightly eclipsed the quality of the match from Wrestle Kingdom 17, but how impressive that so far in 2023 we got number 2 and number 1 from the same guys in their first match and the second match. So the question is, are we going to get that rubber match? Maybe at All In, maybe at All Out, maybe down the road later in the year. Who knows? What's going to happen is anybody's guess. But what we have seen so far is history with both of those guys. As I don't ever remember a year where halfway through, we are already determined that both matches between these guys are basically the two best matches of the year so far, and what matches they were. And that's it so far for 2023. All the top 10 takes you can handle right here. So come back tomorrow. We got more matches to talk about on Wednesday night as part of must-see midweek matches. Stay with us. Come on back. Hope you all enjoyed the 4th of July. And we will see you right back here tomorrow for midweek must-see matches right here at Wrestling. Wrestling!